Hey golfers, in this next video I'll be talking about upper body and golf downswing. Keep watching. Hi, it's Troy from hittingitsolid.com here. Thanks for watching. So I'm talking about the upper body in golf downswing. Now for mine, this is one of the most important parts of the golf swing, because if you can get this right, particularly with your irons, it will also help with the drive, but for your irons, it will enable you to compress the ball, get forward shaft lean, get more distance and consistency. So important. So let's dive right in. So I've got a 7-iron with me here. Like I said, iron or drive. A drive is slightly different because you'll be hitting up on a tee, but it'll be much the same principle. So what I was taught to do when I first started playing golf, when I went to the top of my backswing, was to get my hips, to push my hips or bump my hips over to the left. Now, getting our hips to the left is important. We need a bit of lateral shift. We need to get that pressure into that lead side. But the problem is, if you move your hips only and don't do anything with your upper body, you end up like this. You get this natural tilt away, this what's called secondary axis tilt away from the ball. And you get in this sort of awkward position here where it's hard to get forward shaft lean with your irons and really compress them. You end up scooping and trying to lift the golf ball into the air. Now you can get away with this to a point with your driver because you're hitting up on a tee, but with your irons, what I'd really like to see you do as you start down is feel like that upper body, that lead or left shoulder and your rib cage, it moves together with the left leg. There's a little bit of a lateral shift, not a big shift, but a little shift. And when we get through to impact, get in a position there, we can pretty much draw a straight line down your lead shoulder and your lead shoe. And that's ideally the sort of position you want to get in. This is what you see the really great players get into. That's how they compress the ball. It's called getting stacked on top of the ball, covering the golf ball. And it's really about moving that lead shoulder and that lead rib cage as you rotate, getting it stacked over that lead leg, and that'll help you really compress the ball, play some fantastic golf. So here's some more keys. Now to achieve this great position, getting this upper body movement in the downswing, at the start of the downswing, what I'd like to see you do is feel like that lead shoulder, that left shoulder for right hand, it gets lower. As it gets lower, you begin to rotate. And as the club gets closer to parallel here, the shoulders will level out, and then you'll gradually get into that impact position here, where you'll be able to compress the golf ball. Now, when you do this move of getting this lead shoulder lower at the start of the downswing, your head will move a little bit closer towards the target. That's okay. But what will happen is, as the club gets down lower, there'll be a recentering of this upper body. You'll be nice and stacked and nice and centered over the top of the golf ball. And with your irons, regardless of your handicap, you'll really be able to compress the ball and hit some really great shots. You won't be in this sort of position here where you're hanging back. You'll be able to really get on top of the ball in a great position to hit some solid golf shots. The other key thing in the golf downswing with the upper body is ensuring that you maintain your posture and you maintain those tilts that you had it set up. So it'll look like this. I'm set up here, I've got that nice angle, it's set up here. As I make my takeaway, got that nice posture. Now as I start my downswing, that upper body, I need to make sure that stays down as I'm getting into that great impact position over the top of the ball like that. Really important that I don't stand up taller, lose that distance I am from the golf ball, which will undo a lot of that great body movement to get stacked over that lead side and get that left shoulder matching up with that lead foot. So make sure you maintain those tilts, stay in posture. And that means getting that pelvis, keeping that pelvis back, this area here, making sure that stays back. That'll help you maintain those tilts and get into that great position, strike that ball a lot more solid. Here's a simple drill you can practice at home or anywhere, even inside your house, your backyard, to really get this upper body moving correctly in the downswing. So I've got a chair. You can do this up against a wall or a fence, works perfectly fine. What I want you to do is sit up with your left side sort of a few inches away from this chair. Now what I'm going to do is get up to the top of my backswing. Now the goal is I want to laterally shift a little bit this way that we spoke about. Then as I rotate, I want to get stacked over that lead side. I don't want to just shift my hips this way and bang into the chair. I want to make sure I get that bit of shift, but just enough that I may only just touch the chair or just get a fraction short of it. And that gets me into a great impact position using that chair as feedback. We just don't want to be bashing it into our hips and getting into this awkward position. So you can experiment with getting how close you want to get to the chair, but the idea is you don't want to be bumping the hips into it. You want to be stacked into that nice impact position. Now, really important, coming up, I've got a video that talks about how to stop sliding in the golf swing. Now this ties right in with this video because getting that correct pressure shift and that hip and upper body movement ties right in to help you stop sliding. So make sure you watch that video, it's coming up. Do you want to know how to make a better golf swing? Click and watch the video on your screen now. It's going to go into more detail about how to stop sliding in the golf swing, which ties right in with this video to help you make a great golf swing. Do you want to know how to play even better golf? Consider subscribing to the channel. And remember, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I will get back to you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.